But hey,
Go
welcome,
ahead, man.
man. Keep it thorough Thursdays. Episode was season 2, episode 54. This episode is about silent conversations, right? And
Silent conversations. You said silent conversations?
silent,
Oh, okay.
silent.
I didn't hear it. My
Your
bad.
silent conversation should be very silent
Gotcha.
with
Gotcha.
yourself, though.
My
But
fault.
but essentially self-talk, right? Like that's what we're talking about. Silent conversations, the importance of that, and where that kind of leads you, right? So again, welcome. Keep it thorough Thursdays. It's your boy E54.
Yeah. What's up, good people? Cedric Lavelle. And like he said, man, silent conversations. Talking about hair growing in his ears too. Oh, come on, man. Hey, I'm getting a chop next week though. For the birthday, okay? For the birthday, I'm gonna get that fade, bro. I'm gonna get that Big Rick special. Boy, they didn't tell me nothing. I ain't gonna wear no hat for probably like a whole 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? That way I can let my situation show. You feel me? Hey, but self-talk, man, super beneficial. You know, let's just be honest. Everybody talks to themselves. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. You know, I can't sit up here and even fathom somebody saying that they don't talk to themselves. In some capacity, you talk to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say, like, if you are in the public and you having a public Q&A session with yourself and talking and answering yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, my OG, my grandma always told me, man, that it's fine and okay to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
As long as you don't answer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Verbally. Out loud. You know what I'm saying? Talking to yourself out in public, like, man, ain't no way. Should I do da-da-da-da? You're going to start looking at you crazy. Nah, but for sure, man.
But hey, but yeah, so self-talk, right? Very important. And we're going to go and kick it right off. Get off into this first segment, right? So first segment, mindful words, right? So what you speak is who you become, right? So said, what does that mean, man? Like what is self-talk, right?
Right.
And like what's that impact?
Right. So with self-talk, man, what we're talking about is just your internal dialogue, right? Just the conversations that you're having with yourself, whether good, whether bad. You know, these are the conversations that really shape your outlook, your perspective. You know what I'm saying? It shapes the way that you think, the way that you move, your motives, your mindset, all these different things. It shapes those ideas that you have pertaining to certain approaches that you may take to situations. And the importance of having really positive self-talk is it allows you to have a clearer focus as it relates to dealing with just the commonalities of life. You know what I'm saying? The things that go on, the things that you encounter, the things that you endure, and really searching for the best possible outcome. You know what I'm saying? With things that go on, right? And so it's critical to choose your words wisely as it relates to self-talk, because a lot of times when you have the negative self-talk, this is where you get into those situations where you may not make the best decision, or you may act irrational, or you may not approach a situation with the right mindset and the right mind frame. And as a result of that, that outcome may not be what you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? It may lead to something that can get you into a challenging situation. It may lead to something that can put you in a bind or put you at odds, or whatever the case may be. So it's important to make certain that you're speaking positively to yourself in order to have a more favorable outcome, right? But also just
Positively to yourself, about yourself.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And then also understanding that, you know, with having self-talk, it's not that you're thinking everything is going to be good all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because challenges are going to happen, and you're going to have to endure certain situations, and that's just life in itself. But it's important to have have an approach to those situations where you're not really just you know,
just a more like optimistic
challenges.
outlook.
Yeah,
You know
having
what I
a more,
mean?
that's the word, having a more optimistic outlook about things. You know what I'm saying? And not being pessimistic or not being negative when things don't go right, or when situations start to occur and you don't know what to do. And so the best thing that you can do is just start being negative. You know what I'm saying? And so really just focusing on that. So 3 key things, right, that you want to know when it comes to self-talk and just having mindful words is: 1, mindful words builds your confidence, it builds your self-esteem, it also builds your well-being, right? And so confidence, self-esteem, and well-being, those are 3 things that kind of just self-explanatory, but you know, just kind of give you a little bit of detail on that. Obviously, the words that you say can build your confidence, right? Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you want to pursue, if you want to have a strengthened belief in yourself and be confident in your abilities, it starts with the words that you say to yourself, right? When it comes to your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself and how you see yourself, that goes into the words that you have with yourself, right? The conversations that you have with yourself. If you're down talking yourself and not uplifting yourself or encouraging yourself, obviously that's going to be portrayed in your actions and what you do.
And we've talked about like your subconscious, right? And like when you feed yourself negative self-talk, your subconscious believes it. Absolutely. Right? Your subconscious don't know the difference, right? So now it's gonna believe it and it's gonna act in that manner and in that way, right? And you know, you may talk yourself out of things. You know, it's like the small things, right? It's like you wake up in the morning and you know you're supposed to go to the gym and you like and oh man, I can't do that. You know what I mean? I'm tired. That's probably not the greatest example. So say you're trying to start like a new business, right? And you know it's gonna be a challenge. You may tell yourself like, man, I can't do that. Like I can't, you know what I mean? I don't know what I need to do. And you'll talk yourself out of it. Instead of viewing it from a different perspective, like, hey, this may be challenging for me to get started at first. But if I stick to it and stay with it,
right,
you know, I'll be able to eventually figure it out, right?
Absolutely.
But self-talk is very important, and it's something that all of us do every day, whether you're mindful of it or not.
Right. There it is. Then the last one was just well-being, right? And with well-being, that goes into your stress management. You know, the way that you feel and how you express yourself and things of that nature. And so building yourself up with words that really empower you, encourage you, energize you, right? Are things that can benefit your well-being. So, you know, really with mindful words is understanding what you say is who you become, right? If you're speaking positively into your life, if you're using words that positively affirm you, if you're using words that uplift you, encourage you, make you feel good about yourself, you know, that's going to help, right? And like I said earlier, it's not to say that everything is going to always go right or everything is going to always happen in your favor, but it definitely gives you a better approach to those situations where you don't have to feel so negative about things when challenges occur and when you're stuck with certain situations. So mindful words,
hey,
what you
speak and just to add on to that, right? Like you said, it doesn't mean everything is always going to be positive, but let's look at it on the opposite end, right? If you're not practicing positive self-talk, which can help you get out of those negative situations and ruts, if you, on the opposite end of the spectrum, embrace the negative self-talk, then you're going to stay in those ruts.
Right.
You're going to stay in that negative mindset. You're going to, you know, block your blessings and stop opportunities, Absolutely. Right? So even though everything isn't going to always be good, practicing positive self-talk and being mindful of it will help you get out of those tough situations and have a more optimistic approach will help you, you know, overall. You know what I mean? So very, very important.
And I always say you can't find solutions when you're stuck with stress, right? And when you're continuously stressing about certain situations and always thinking about the negative, it's almost impossible for you to find a positive solution in anything, because it's like you don't feel like you're able or capable of even getting there. You know what I'm saying? So really having that positive reinforcement that you use within yourself can at least give you a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get to a more favorable and more positive outcome, for sure.
You know, absolutely. So moving on to the next segment, right? The next segment is talking to myself. And so we obviously described what silent conversations are, right? Which is self-talk, and kind of what self-talk is, and how it can benefit you, and how it also can be negative to you, right? So we always like to provide tangible things that you can apply to whatever conversation that we're having, right? So in this particular conversation about self-talk, we're gonna provide like 6 ways to build positive self-talk, right? So like, what are some things that you can do to build that positive self-talk, right? So the first one is to challenge negative self-talk, right? And how do you do that? So you want to ask yourself, like in the example that we gave about starting a business, if you feel like that's something that you can't do, right, and that's what you're telling yourself, you got to ask yourself, is it really true, right? Is there any evidence to support that I can't do this, right? Like, why do I feel this way? You know, like, ask your friends, like, you know, like, if I'm trying to do something and I may not have the most confidence about it, you know, if you have a good group, right, surrounding you that are, you know, going to be honest with you and uplift you and all those types of things, ask them, right? And they may tell you like, oh yeah, man, you can do that. Like, yeah, no, absolutely, man, you can do that because of boom, boom, boom. You good at, you know, these multiple things that, you know, would be an asset to whatever it is you're trying to do. So that's number one. Challenge negative thoughts, right? And by doing that, you may find that some of the things you were talking yourself out of, you stop doing that and you actually start trying new things and challenging yourself a little more. The next one is be mindful of your self-talk, right? And the way this is different from the first one is by paying attention to the thoughts that you have throughout the day, right? And a lot of us don't think about these things. Like, it can be something simple where you like make excuses, or just the smallest little things, right? Just being mindful of what you're telling yourself throughout the day, right? Like, I don't know, like, I got this deadline. Oh, I can't make it. Like, no, I can't make it. I got an hour. Let me use this hour and really put my head down to get this done. You know what I mean? Like, it's just being mindful of what you're telling yourself throughout the day, right? Yeah. So, and we're literally talking to ourselves all day, every day, whether we realize it or not. Like, when you make a decision, if you're about to get up to go to the bathroom, that's you talking to yourself. Like, you know what I mean? We have conversations with ourselves throughout the day. So just being more mindful of those conversations and how you come to, you know, the decisions that you come to. What were you going to say, Sid?
No, I was agreeing with what you said. Just talking to yourself out throughout the day. We all do that. Yeah, no,
exactly. The next on the list, which y'all know I love this word, gratitude, is practicing gratitude. By focusing on the things that you're thankful for, it'll shift your perspective away from the negative to the positive, right? And it's just that simple. If you truly practice gratitude and lead with gratitude, you're spending so much time being thankful for what you have and where you are that it naturally kind of just blocks out the negative, because that's not your point of focus, right? You're trying to focus in on the positives. Like, what am I happy for? What do I have to be happy for today, as opposed to the things that I need to complain about? You know what I mean? So practicing gratitude is a good way, right? So when you're having that self-talk and you might be having a bad day and you like, fuck, like, my boss pissing me off, my kids driving me crazy, whatever the case, my significant other, whatever the case may be. Like, what do you have to be grateful for? Right? You got a roof over your head. You got a job. You know what I mean? I don't know. You got your, you know, there's multiple things that you got your health. You got, you know, you woke up this morning. There's numerous things that you have to be thankful for, to practice gratitude. And if you focus on those things, it'll help with your self-talk, right?
Now, I think that compounds as well too. You know what I'm saying? When you're consistently expressing levels of gratitude, and like Trevon just said, perspective. When you have a certain perspective as it relates to different situations that you encounter throughout the day, and you're approaching those things from a place of, you know what, I'm grateful for this. Even though this situation is going on right now, I know that it can get better. I know that I have X, Y, and Z that can sustain me and allow me to manage and maintain opposed to
you said his name wrong?
His name is Tico. Trevon, whatever you want to call yourself, man. But opposed to, you know, approaching the situation and thinking about all the negative things that are happening or taking place, you know what I'm saying? At least going into a situation where you're focused on the good and the optimism and the positive things. Because again, it is challenging to find a solution when you're stressing out.
Well, you're not in the right mind. You're not in the right mindset. You know what I mean? In the right mind state. Like when you're and it's acting off impulse and emotion. And when you're emotional and making decisions, you don't make the best decisions. You know what I mean? So putting yourself in a more positive mindset, right, allows you to have a clearer mind and make better decisions. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's just the importance. And we had a whole episode on leading with gratitude, right? And I told y'all like how that, you know what I mean, that was somewhat, I'm not gonna say life changing because that's a little dramatic, but it opened my eyes and gave me a different perspective, and it's something that I'm mindful of every single day. But really practicing gratitude is very, 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 very important for multiple reasons besides just self-talk, right? Yeah. Building positive self-talk. So next on the list is seek support. Surround yourself with people who support and encourage you. They can help you think about yourself and your abilities, which kind of goes back to the first point that I made, right? Like you may be down on yourself and very hard on yourself and have a lot of self-talk. That doesn't mean that you're not a great person with a whole lot of assets and abilities and skills, right? You may be overlooking those things because you're so hard on yourself. By seeking support and working with people and having people in your circle and in your corner to support you, motivate you, and all of those things, they can help get you out of those ruts, you know, and help you build some confidence, right? And I don't care who you are. We all need help at times. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you are. Everybody from the richest person in this world, which was Elon Musk, but it didn't change because stock didn't drop. But whatever, whoever it is, he needed help. Everybody walking this earth needs help at one point or another, right? So seek support. That can help with your positive self-talk, with your building positive self-talk. Next is challenge your limiting beliefs, right? And we had an episode on this too, limiting beliefs, right? So you need to identify what some of these limiting beliefs are that you have about yourself. What do you say? Surround yourself with people that affirm your positive thought. Exactly, right? And not just yes, man, right? Because you want people who are going to challenge you if you're not right and bring alternate perspectives, but you want people who support you as well. You don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of haters. So definitely surround yourself with people who affirm your positive thoughts. Absolutely. But back to challenging your limiting beliefs, right? So you have to identify what some of those limiting beliefs are, right? And again, you got to go back to challenging the negative thoughts and ask yourself, like, is it true? Like, are these things that I believe about myself true? Right? Like, maybe I'm very good at something that I don't realize I'm that good at, right? Or whatever the case may be. But it's important to first identify those limiting beliefs and question those limiting beliefs. And the ones that aren't true, you just need to stop feeling that way about yourself. Build some confidence. And then if you identify certain things that are true, then work to improve them, which will build your confidence and help your positive self-talk, right? You won't speak negatively anymore because you know you're working towards it. You know it's something that you're improving on. And if you've already made some progress, that's gonna, motivate you. That's gonna, give you some positive and build some optimism.
And that I actually posted something earlier today, and it said, you can't change what you don't confront, right? And there's no way that you can change the situation or change your thoughts if you don't confront them.
Exactly.
No matter what it is, like you have to confront those things and see what it is that's really challenging you. What's causing you to have these limiting beliefs, or what's causing you to feel this way? It may be some deep-rooted trauma that you experienced years ago with the friend or with the comment that was made. It could be an array of different things, but this is just as we evolve as people, right? As humans, we're all about evolving and progressing towards better and becoming a better version of ourselves. And in order for us to do those things and evolve into who we need to become, you have to be aware of the things that are limiting you. You have to confront those things, and then you have to go through a process of changing those things as well too in order to improve.
So think about it like this, right? Think about your life as a highway or a road with multiple directions to go, right? Like as you drive along this highway, right? And think of your limiting beliefs as blocks in the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you're traveling, you come up on a block, you know, a limiting belief. You can take a detour, right? Like, okay, I'm just not gonna go this way. I'm gonna go a different way. And you can keep doing that. Eventually, you're gonna run out of detours. And if you want to move forward and travel down this new road and, you know, new experiences and whatnot, you have to address that brick wall, those limiting beliefs. You got to knock it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really what it's all about, right? You want to continue traveling along and growing and moving in the right direction. And you can't do that if you constantly taking detours and making excuses and trying to finagle your way out of something to just make you feel a little bit more comfortable, right?
You can't avoid discomfort.
No, exactly. And we've said this a million
discomfort.
times, and anybody you talk to about growing in business and self-development, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know?
Don't happen.
Exactly. And then last on the list is practice self-care, right? And this is physically, emotionally, mentally, right? One of the things that I've been real big on this year, and I've been a hypocrite thus far, is getting your sleep, right? And the importance of that. Like, but as well as, you know, just taking care of yourself, right? Like, setting time aside for yourself weekly to, you know, do something that's for you, that you appreciate, and kind of push your mind at ease. Now, everybody's different, right? Some people going for a jog might put their mind at ease, and that's something that they do for themselves, which was part of self-care. But then other people going for a jog is like, man, I ain't trying to do that. Like, that's gonna bother me. That's working out, right? So you might like to read a book, or you might like to, you know, go swimming or something. Like, I don't know, whatever it is you like to do, you know, make sure you're setting time aside and you're practicing that self-care. It's extremely important. And when you're well rested, when you're eating right, you know, when you're drinking your water, you know, you're taking care of your mental health and all that, you're just naturally in a more upbeat, positive mindset, which just will help with your positive self-talk, right?
Yeah.
The better you feel about yourself, the better your self-talk is going to be, right? Like, the more confidence you have.
It's like you got more things to talk about.
Exactly. It all goes hand in hand, right? So what's the impact, right, of building positive self-talk? The approach we take to manage areas of our lives is impacted by the words we believe to be true. Support yourself with encouraging words that will help you progress towards better, opposed to putting up barriers. And those barriers were like those bricks in the road, those roadblocks we were talking about, right? You need to knock those down so you can continue moving forward.
It is.
So next on the list, right? Thoughts to live by. Change your thoughts and you can change your life. We're going to go over a couple. If you want to take the first two, say it, I'll take the next two.
Let's do it. So first one, see obstacles as opportunities to build you up and not break you down, right? And I've said this countless amounts of times. When it comes to obstacles, right? Everyone knows that we're going to be faced with opposition. That's inevitable. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be certain situations that are going to come about that's going to present different types of problems, right? And I've said this repeatedly. Whenever you're enduring a situation and it's challenging and you're really having positive self-talk and you're looking at the situation as an opportunity, there are so many different things that you can gain when you're faced with adversity, right? When you're faced with these different challenges and you're faced with certain things that you go through, there's so much that you can gain from adversity because, one, it builds your character, it can build your endurance, but also there are strategies that you can identify through those situations as well too. And with those strategies, that allows you to not only benefit from them and have some sort of growth or gain, but it also allows you to give it to others as well. So a person that you may come across maybe weeks, months, a year from that time that you was experiencing those challenges may need that information from you, right? And because you went through it and you got through it, now you have an opportunity to share that information with them and be beneficial at the same time, right? You could tell them, hey, man, I experienced this years ago. This is what I had to endure. This is what I encountered, right? You know, and this is how I got through it. You know what I'm saying? And so now you're doing a service to them and helping them along the way. But if you was in a situation and that obstacle just got the best of you and it overwhelmed you, and you weren't practicing positive self-talk, right? You may miss that opportunity to be a blessing to somebody else's life because you allowed the situation to get the best of you. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're approaching obstacles as opportunities, you know, those things can build you up, you know, and they can build certain things inside of you that you never even knew existed. You know what I'm saying? Like you may have never even knew that you had a passion for public speaking. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't you looked at it as an opportunity and you figured something out, right? And there's countless other situations that you may experience and challenges that you may experience that can allow you to identify things in yourself that you didn't know existed. And that's where the opportunity comes in. The next one is believe that every problem faced, there is a solution that's waiting to be found, right? And I can't remember how the saying goes, but it's like for every problem that's faced, somebody has already found a solution or something like that. But same context, right? If you believe that there's a solution for every problem, and you're committed to finding that solution, whatever it may be, you're going to find that solution, right? It may not look the way that you intended it to look, or it may take much longer than you may have anticipated for it to take. But if you continue to put your best foot forward and you continue to progress and be optimistic and look for the positive and look for the the light at the end of the tunnel, you can get to a solution that's favorable, or even a solution that you can be comfortable with, right? You know, like I said, it may not be the outcome that you may have initially expected it to be, but you can get to a place where you're comfortable, or where you can adjust, or where you can identify certain things that you benefited from, but you're still being solutions based, right? You're still looking for the positive. It's like in the business world too, right? You always see a lot of times where you may be faced with a challenge or something that's going on, and you go to your manager or your upper leadership, and it's like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, this, and this. And you give them the breakdown, but you didn't even offer a solution, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, what did you do? Like, did you go and research, or did you find out anything? No, I didn't even look at anything. But if you take the time to be solutions based and at least try to find a solution, or see what the outcome could potentially be, based off of things that you know and that you understand, now you can face those problems a lot differently, right? You can go towards a situation, have a solution, or you can bring somebody else in that can potentially help you, but they'll be more inclined to help you because they know, okay, you may be in the rut right now. You said you've done X, Y, and Z. Here's how I can offer my assistance to you. You know what I'm saying? And so really just being solutions-based, and looking for answers, opposed to being stuck in a situation where you're not making any progress.
All right, cool. And next on the list is don't view failure as a negative, but see it as a needed element to introduce new ideas, right? So whenever you fail at something, you really didn't fail, right? It was a lesson, you know, an opportunity, right? Because you can learn from it, right? And when you learn from it, then you can implement new things and new ideas and try new things, so that you don't fail next time, right? So don't view failure as a negative thing, right? Or to put it in the terms of like self-talk, right? Like when you're thinking negatively about yourself and you're challenging those limiting beliefs and how you feel about yourself, it's important when you have those negative thoughts to look at them as opportunities, right? Like, okay, so why do I feel this way? Okay, is it true? Like, is there anything to back up while I feel this way? Like, okay, if there is, then that's an opportunity, like we mentioned earlier, to learn something new and improve in a particular area. If it's not true and it's, you know, it was just a limiting belief you had about yourself that didn't have no substance, then it's also a positive because it's like, okay, I can do this, or let me learn, let me lean into this. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, are introduce new opportunities and new ideas. Next is appreciate change even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. In order to grow, you're gonna be uncomfortable, right? And in certain situations, you're gonna have to do things that you don't want to do, right? Which are gonna be very inconvenient, right? You have to embrace that. And as we mentioned earlier, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And truthfully, you want to seek out more challenging experiences, right?
Yeah.
You want to seek out getting out of your comfort zone, right? Because there's no growth in that. And then eventually you're going to plateau and just be doing the same thing over and over. And again, there's no growth in that. So appreciate new opportunities and change, right? You got to be willing to pivot and adjust, learn new skills. You know, whatever the case entails. Embrace the suck. Exactly. Embrace the suck. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna suck. You gotta embrace it.
Because on the other side of it is a lot of positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On the other side of it is growth, is knowledge, right?
New opportunities.
All of those things. And to go back to Ced's point, take every experience that you go through as an opportunity to be beneficial to someone else, right? Like you never know when your opportunities or your quote unquote setbacks or whatever the case may be, you know, the gospel to somebody. You know what I mean? Because they may be going through something, and your words of encouragement or advice can be what uplifts them and gets them through the tough time or situation. You know what I mean? And like your experience shared with them can improve their self-talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can have a huge impact, right? So appreciate the change even when it's uncomfortable and inconvenient. You want to hit us with the final thought, Sid?
Let's get it. Each day brings its own set of events that will require a different set of beliefs. By shifting the conversations that you have with yourself with words that add value, you can increase your chances of accomplishing better results and displaying better behaviors. And this just really encompasses everything that we've talked about throughout this live, right? With every situation that you approach in any day, it's going to require a different set of beliefs, right? There's going to require different things that you've thought about yourself, you know, whether it be you're approaching a new task, or whether it be you're approaching something with dealing with your kids, or something with a family member, whatever the case may be. It's going to require a different set of beliefs, but you always want to make certain that you're consistent with doing this one thing, and that's adding value to your life through the words that you use, right? No matter what the situation is, no matter what the event, no matter how good it is, no matter how bad it is, are you adding value to yourself with the words that you're using, right? And if you can consistently do that throughout your day, throughout your month, throughout your life, whatever it is, you can see more favorable outcomes. You can see change happen in your life, right? You can see people wanting to be around you and really get your energy, or you can start giving out better energy when you're really focusing on adding value to yourself with your words, right? And that's beneficial across the board. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're using positive self-talk and you're having these solid conversations with yourself and you're being encouraged by it, man, it just gives you a different aura. You know what I mean? Like it just gives a different vibe, and your energy is shifted. And like we always said, like I've always said, life doesn't happen to you, life happens for you, right? In every situation that you encounter, you don't have to look at it as a bad thing, as a negative. Yeah, bad stuff happens. Like that's just the reality of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like bad stuff just bad stuff happens to good people. You know what I'm saying? And bad stuff happens across the world. But I feel like there's always opposites. To every bad, there's a good. You know what I'm saying? To every up, there's a down. To every in, there's an out, right? And so it's all about perspective when you have the approach to get to a positive self-talk.
And to that point, right? Like I'm sure we all heard the saying, right? Like I'm my own worst critic, right? Which is good, right? Be your own worst critic, hold yourself accountable, but you also got to be your biggest cheerleader, right? And that's where that positive self-talk comes in, right? And that positive self-talk, that biggest cheerleader should overrule that own worst critic, right? So be hard on yourself, hold yourself accountable, but know that there's a solution to every problem, right? And that be dead set on figuring out that solution, you know? So that, like you said, like I'm a firm believer in the law of averages, right?
Yeah.
Whenever there's a whole lot of negative going on, I know some positive is coming, right? And I feel like whenever a whole bunch of positive is going on, that's some negative is coming. Now that's not, I'm not in a pessimist like point of view, right? We're like, oh, like let me be careful because some bad's coming. Like, no, I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna do me, but I know if I've been on this streak of all this positives, some negatives coming at some point or another, right?
And I think that's just more of like a recalibration.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it really recalibrates you and makes sure that you're in alignment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and even though it may be a quote unquote a bad thing, it's like, okay, no, I'm familiar with this. Like I've experienced certain things like this before, and I know how
and that's my mindset on it, right? So like when something bad does happen, right? It's not like, oh, why me? It's like, okay, it's cool. It's that season. You know what I mean? Some positives coming now. Like I'm gonna work through it. Like let me do my due diligence, count my blessings, lead with gratitude. You know what I mean? Some positive is coming. And you know, and that's life, right? The more you're open to the experiences you go through and the things you experience, right? Like the more easier it is to deal with those things, right? As opposed to not dealing with them, running from them, right? Which I truly believe negative self-talk talks you out of trying things and doing things and growing as a person, right? Because it speaks to how you feel about yourself, right? Yeah. And if you feel like you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not capable, then you're not going to take on certain opportunities and try certain things. Whereas if you're, you know, embracing those challenging situations and challenging those limiting beliefs and those negative thoughts and self-talk, then it becomes, you know, like second nature. It's easy for you to deal with, right? Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh damn, this is gonna be hard, but shit, I can figure it out. Like I did some, you know what I mean? Like, and that's really the mindset you gotta have, man. Like mind over matter, right?
It is.
But yeah, man. Yeah.
That's all I had.
Hey man, we greatly appreciate y'all. Season 2 Under Wraps episode. This was episode 2. A lot of good stuff coming for y'all, man. I don't even want to get the name in it all because we be talking about it. It's in the works. These is gonna be available for purchase real soon. Keep it thorough. Yeah, with a lot of good stuff coming up, man. As always, a link to the kisses in the bio. We're a little behind on the. I ain't even gonna say we, because I'm the one responsible for putting the kits on.
Yeah, you got to take ownership of that, man. You got to take accountability.
Behind on putting the kits on the website because I'm building the new web. So since I'm gonna take negative, I'm gonna take the positive. Right. I'm building the new website. Okay. And that's been kind of like my main point of focus is getting this new website launched and released. But it's way real dope experience coming, man. Real interactive. You know, it's gonna take just our whole platform to a whole new level. And y'all heard it here first. We actually calling this a podcast now. Coming soon to Spotify, iTunes, you know, wherever you listen to your podcast. So be on the lookout for that. But real big things going on for Keep It Thorough real soon here. You want anything you want to add to that, Sid?
Nah, bro, I think you covered everything, man. Website coming soon, like Eric said. Definitely going to be something that's going to elevate our brand and what we're building. Give us more exposure, more opportunities to reach more people, which is what this is all about. Keep It Thorough is a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we want to promote. With this brand, you know, is keep it thorough, keep it real, keep it 100, you know, do your due diligence, be you, be your most authentic self, you know what I'm saying, level up, all those things, you know what I'm saying, that all goes into keeping it thorough. We want to really elevate and amplify our voices with our brand and with what we're building. So definitely an exciting time that we're experiencing with this brand. My website will be launching really soon as well too, and so I'm excited about that. And that's going to be dope because it just encompasses everything that we talk about. You know.
And what y'all gonna be getting real soon is really kind of like a real time front view seat to some of these business ventures that we got going on, and like some of these episodes that we're going to be delivering is going to be focusing on those elements of business that we like are currently in, right? Like I'm in the midst of purchasing my first investment property, right? And once I kind of go through that process and complete it and have that experience, we gonna share that. Right. You know what I'm saying? We gonna share, you know, what some of the pitfalls were, some things to avoid, what some of the positives were, like so on and so forth, right? So like that's the type of content that we want to deliver, and like that real time for y'all to be able to see it, right? And everybody who like is like we got the analytics, we see the people who go back and watch it versus, you know, and the people who are on live. But what y'all are gonna see is the brand is about to accelerate, because this past year, what we really was focused on was creating the content, the platform, you know, really having a catalog. So once we really do reach, you know, a larger group of people, there's a lot of content for them to go digest, right? And there's a lot for them to, you know, take in and see the benefit, right? So yeah, so now that that's established, right? We have a year's worth of content. We're on episode 54. We've covered various topics, and you know, and a lot of very good topics to come. And you know, we wanted to create that, and now we've got a lot of other things in motion that's going to increase that viewership, that's going to put it in front of more people, because as of right now, this has been all organic, right?
Yeah.
I don't got 1 million followers. Said don't got 1 million followers. So, you know, the people who see this are just the people who are friends with us and get notified, or if they follow the Keep It Thorough page, right? Well, there's marketing and a lot of other things that are about to be going on behind the scenes that's going to put this in front of a lot more people, which will grow viewership and adoption and all those things. But everybody who's been here from the jump, we appreciate y'all, all the OG members, all the OG,
all the originals,
right? All the originals. But yeah, man, greatly appreciate y'all, and we'll be back next week with another episode. And y'all know the saying, man, if you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough. We'll holler at y'all next time. Deuces.